ready as we were getting.
You guys are ready.
Welcome to another episode of Taking Over the World with Aloha. I was going to say Aloha.
You are, dude.
Ed and Aaron.
You are so... Dude, you're mine. You're just not back yet, are you?
No, I'm back, dude. I'm working.
And there's no doubt about that. But, I mean, I think you are drinking the Hawaiian Kool-Aid. I think you want to be Polynesian, Hawaiian. I think you're ready to convert. You know how people do, like, baptisms late in life? Like, they commit to all that stuff and do their thing, which absolutely wonderful. I did my baptism. Great. I wonder if they have one for Polynesians. Because I think you would do it. Or is that what you have coming up on the books? Is that why you are? I won't even break the news to people. But is that the reason for your, I'm not going to call it a midlife crisis, but your sea turtling adventures holding the trident?
Sea turtling adventure holding the trident. No, so how can I say this? Hawaii is just a great place, dude. It really is. I'm upset I haven't gone sooner.
It's funny because when people go, I feel like people have mixed reviews. I feel like people are like, oh yeah, it's a great vacation, but then I hear people like, oh yeah, like the locals don't really want you there. It's like very tight knit group, and you're considered an outsider. I've heard both sides of it.
I really had a great experience there for the most part.
I love it. That's great.
There were some other people, plus a lot of I have clients that are Hawaiian, and been able to mix with them and learn a little bit about their culture and spend time with them. But yeah, no, we watched Moana yesterday.
Jeez.
And not at my request, at my son's request.
So
because he wants to move there.
Just Moana and Maui. So I'm gonna call you Maui now.
That's fine.
Or Hey. You want to be Hey?
No, I don't want to be Hey. Definitely don't want to be Hey. That is not who I want to be. Maui, I'll take.
So are you now like a full? Like, is the sea turtle like your? Is that like your?
That's my spirit animal.
Is that your spirit animal? That's where I was going. So the sea turtle is your spirit animal.
100%. You know what it stands for? One of the many things it stands for.
I don't know, just like an awesome
stability.
Okay.
Longevity. Patience.
Okay. I mean, I'm good
Family.
with all. I'm good with all of that.
Like that's what it stands for.
I'm gonna buy a sea turtle now.
Yeah. Well,
Can I put a sea turtle in my pool?
Probably not. Dang. So you can't touch them.
Why?
Because their defense mechanisms are not set up for all the bacteria that we carry as humans. And sometimes we have bacteria that we don't know about in our hands, and when we pass it along to them, we give them an infection that kills them. So when you're in Hawaii, you're not allowed to touch them because.
So if I'm like just chilling in the water or surfing or something, I'm in the Hawaii living the shaka bra life, right? And I see a sea turtle there floating, I can't reach out and touch its shell.
No, it's a federal fine.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you watch, which I didn't notice until yesterday, now knowing that you can't touch them.
Yeah.
In Moana, at the very, very, very beginning, when she finds a sea turtle, she's moving them with a palm tree leaf. She's not touching them. And the reason is because you're not supposed to touch them.
Is The Rock allowed to touch sea turtles? I feel like if anybody's allowed to touch the sea turtles, I feel like it's The Rock.
Nobody. And he would
even The Rock.
And he would probably not touch them out of respect. Yeah. But they live for like 100 and something years.
See, I'm down for that.
Dude, I'm so down for that.
Okay. So we don't want to be sea turtles.
And Brandon wants to move there, so that's a new development.
So, like, he's like for real, they're just like, hey, this would be cool. I was there for like a week for vacation. I want to.
No, like we were looking at places yesterday. We were looking at jobs.
What would he do out there?
Well, that's what we were looking at, right? So one of the
things. He'd be a cabana boy.
No, he was actually looking at, because he likes physical labor. Why, I have no idea, because I am not the most physical labor kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't really associate you in physical labor.
That's not my thing. Like
not normally in the same sentence. I mean, nothing against it, but
that's not been my thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
But he loves physical labor. He loves to do that. So we were actually looking at jobs at the Dole plant.
Oh.
Working at around pineapples and picking pineapples and doing that stuff because he wanted to see what that would be like. But we did.
Don't they have like macadamia nut farms up there too? Isn't
that
supposed to be like really big?
Macadamia nut farms, which is tropical farms, is one of the bigger ones out there.
Okay, so he's gonna be a tropical farmer.
So we were looking at that stuff, but one of the things I saw over there when we were looking at it this weekend and we were looking at things, he's looking at getting a job here with a painting contractor. We did find jobs from the state that pay over there approximately $6,000 a month for a painter with experience. So I was like, look, dude, get the job here, learn how to paint, get the experience, and then move over there with experience, and you could potentially make $6,000 right off the bat.
Isn't cost of living high in Hawaii though?
It is.
It is, okay.
Yeah, but $6,000 you'll be able to get at least a studio apartment, pay your bills, and at least to start. And then, I mean, all the painters that I know do side jobs painting stuff here in Vegas.
So what do you think, being that we are in Vegas, we are in Sin City, the betting capital of the world?
Yes.
What do you think the odds are within the next 3 years Brandon moves to Hawaii?
I would say 80%.
Wow!
Yeah. So in the next 3 years, my prediction is Amanda seriously looks at moving to Canada.
Oh, okay.
I predict that.
Because she likes maple syrup, eh?
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 Yeah, and her boyfriend lives there, obviously.
That's not the reason. It's like pancakes and maple syrup, eh?
Yeah. But it's more of her style.
Yeah.
She's more laid back. She's more
Dude,
no
does that
guns.
like freak you? Okay, so...
And Brandon will move to Hawaii.
So does that like freak you out at all? I guess your kids are older. So these are like Braxton's birthday's today.
Right.
He's our first
Shout out to Braxton. Happy birthday.
Teenager, bro.
The first teenager.
First teenager.
Woo! Remember those days.
Man, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to, everybody in the podcast, if you could sign up and send some home inquiries over to let us work for you because these birthdays are getting more and more expensive. but like the thought of like, and I guess I did it because I didn't live with my parents. I mean, when I went to college, I lived on campus at ASU. Then I moved to Vegas for the family business at the time, but they were still living in Arizona. But like, I don't know, that's weird to me. Like thinking like your kids are, one of them's out of the country, and one of them's going to Shaka Bra land.
So I was talking
That's crazy.
It's funny. I was talking to my brother about that, right? And I think that my personal opinion on this, right? And we could get flack for it or whatever, but my personal opinion is a lot of the very successful people I know in life left their home area, left their area because when you go somewhere, you typically have to figure things out.
Sure, that makes sense.
You don't have mom and dad there to take care of you or whatever. So you go figure stuff out, right? You have to figure out how to pay your bills. You got to figure out how to make ends meet and survive. And most of the people that struggle later on in life have stayed at home, right? They're living in mom's basement or in a room or something. So I think that given another go at life, I think at 18, I would have moved up to Michigan. I would have moved to Ann Arbor because I really wanted to go to University of Michigan.
Okay.
So I would have moved up there. Even if I didn't go to school there, I just would have moved there at 18 and tried to figure life out.
Well, I think that goes with a lot of things. I think because when you see, like even like these Hallmark movies or they like big city girl, big city guy goes back to the country, goes back to the home. And you see all these movies, is that I do think there's part of it where depending on people's and the way that they, like their behaviors and stuff, like they can be very complacent. It's like they don't want more. They don't want to push out of their comfort zone. They're like, hey, listen, I grew up here. My family's worked here. We've been third generation school district or, police department, fire department, CPAs, and everybody can be, not everybody, like a lot of people just go with what they know. Hey, listen, my dad was a CPA. I'm going to go into the CPA business. I'm just going to stay here. It provided a good living. It's safe, and it's there are good livings, but there's some people that like, they don't want to push the envelope. Like they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They know what's safe. They know what works. And, I guess when I think about it, like I was out of the house by 18. 19, I was living on campus. And then when I came back, maybe like a couple of months there, but then I moved out to Vegas by myself. I was living out here by myself in 2004, 2005, June 20, like I was probably 21, 22. But I was lived on campus at ASU. I was easy enough to come home and stuff like that, but you got to figure out the day-to-day life. You got to figure out what days are drinking days, which day are schools days, which day are wiffle ball in the backyard days.
See, and that was the thing. I left my house at 20 and moved to Texas.
Yeah.
And I moved to somewhere I didn't know anybody. Like, I just got a job transfer, and I was like, all right, this is where I got to go. And I think that, and I don't know. I don't know how to look at it. I look at it as you've raised, if your kids are willing to take the chance, you've done a good job, right? Because they're not afraid.
Yeah.
They're willing to take a shot and say, you know what? I can do this.
Brooklyn's out at 18.
See, that's
gone.
the thing. See,
I feel like she's gone. She's going somewhere. She's out, dude.
See, we thought Amanda for sure was going to be out at 18.
She'd be my first one, I think, that's gone.
No, because Braxton, if he gets a scholarship to go play baseball, he's going somewhere.
He's going to go somewhere like for college. I think she's the first one that like actively looks
Bounces.
to leave the house, like move out. Beckham, I think if he could move into our room and live with us forever, I think he'd be okay with that.
Well, he's still young, though.
Andy would be okay with that. The baby gets it all. That's true. He is.
He's young. He's still.
He is. I'm
he
still
still
in that team. And I think maybe that's why I'm still like thinking like, oh man, kids leaving state, or I'm like, I don't know what Andy would do. I don't know what I'd be like. Like we need, and I watch how active like our parents have been, and Andy's that live like down the street from us pretty much. Like I think like my father-in-law's like he shows up yesterday. We made it to the championship game yesterday, and I turn around. He's like, "Hey man, like here we go." It's like like everybody knows him. He comes to all of our sporting events and this and that. So it's like I feel like that's the kind of role I want to have too. Like later in life, like going to the grandkids game, helping like them coach or laughing at them while they coach and be like, "Ha, remember when you guys did that to me, suckers?" Like get your payback.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Now, will it actually happen? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I was talking to my brother, and his son, my nephew, wants to do the same thing. As soon as he gets out of college, he wants to move up to New York.
Listen, do it now. Do it while you're young. What do they always say? If you're going to fail now, fail fast. Learn from it. Move out to Hawaii. Move out to New York. And if it doesn't work out, you're
home.
Freaking 18, 20, 21 years old. You got it.
But how cool, like when I was talking to my brother about it, those are stories that if you go out to Hawaii and you make it, or you go to New York and you make it, or you move wherever and you make it, great. And if you end up not, it's still a story.
Yeah, for sure.
And you learn from what you didn't. Okay, next time I move out, what am I going to do differently to make sure I succeed this time?
Yeah.
And taking chances. I mean, you know me. I'm the king of taking chances.
I know. I love it. I love it.
I don't think Mercy wants to hear that as much.
All right.
And she doesn't like the encouragement of the bad behavior, because she considers it bad behavior wanting to leave.
Ooh.
But yeah, I encourage it. It's like, you can't keep them at home forever. And if you do, you're doing a disservice, because at the end of the day,
you can't hold them back.
At the end of the day, right, they're gonna move on.
Well, it's just like in anything. Like we talk about in our industry, in real estate, and in the jobs that are out there. It's like it's collecting data, making a decision, helping your clients make a decision, understanding their why. And putting all the information together to help facilitate. In our industry, a sale of a home.
Right.
And it's like in this case, you hate to be like, oh, it's the same thing. It's not. But, you collect the data. Brandon, he went there. I get it. A lot of people go on vacations like, this is the greatest place in the world. Well, there's a difference between vacation mode living there and everyday living there. But if Brandon starts to collect the data, he finds out he can get a job there. And at the end of the day, maybe that's a place where his personality fits. That's somewhere he can flourish. And maybe he's there for 5-10 years and comes back. But at the end of the day, if he does his homework and collects his data just like we would on a property or a purchase or an investment, it's like, can't fault the guy.
So no, you can't. So, question for you.
Yes.
What is it that we do on buyer consultations and seller consultations?
We understand the big why and see how we can provide value.
That's what you do, right?
Right.
And you find out what it is that is motivating them to make the
100%.
And how they how they came up with the decision of either buying or selling,
right.
Or what, right? That's what we do, right?
You got to understand that. I mean, that is literally, if you go with a full pun, like this is the foundation of building a house here. Like you cannot move forward until we feel like until you build that foundation, understand the why, understand what is. You got to have that solid foundation to go. So yes, that is what we do.
So I was in Hawaii and we did the podcast. I told you I was going to get a real tattoo. I was thinking about getting one over there.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I went over there, and all they did was look at the current one that I had,
Mm-hmm.
the henna that I had done, and they said, "Hey, yeah, this is, we can do that tattoo somewhere else."
This is when you got back and you're having a consultation.
No. This is in Hawaii.
Okay.
I went and got it done. They gave me a price, and they said, "Hey, we can copy that and do that on your arm." And I was like, okay, whatever. And I went in there and I didn't feel the vibe.
Yeah.
So I got back and
Didn't have a very sea turtle-esque vibe to it.
no, they didn't have the very island lifestyle.
Maui and Moana feel to it.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Okay.
So I didn't do it.
More of a hey feel in there. Okay.
And whatever. I mean, they could be really good at it. They just didn't have the right feel.
Sure.
So I get back and I talk to our lady in the front, Chanel, who's Hawaiian.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, look at the henna. She's like, oh, it's really nice, whatever. And I'm like, I'm looking to get a real one. I figured I wanted to come here, look for some Polynesian tattoo guys and talk to them. She's like, oh, I have a guy.
Ooh,
Name's
okay.
Johnny.
Johnny.
So I sent him a message through social media because that's your way now. I didn't even have a phone number.
It's my love language, baby.
So I sent him a message. We were responding. He set up a consultation. I was like,
So before you go through with the story, are you telling me that in order to do business with somebody, the media that you use was to contact through social media to set up a consultation?
well, I got a referral
Okay.
first from somebody.
Okay.
Then I went onto his page to see what kind of
And what did you learn on that page? Tell me what you learned on that page.
that he's a very good tattoo artist and he specializes in black and grays and Polynesian tattoos. So we were going back and forth, and he says to set up an appointment on Friday. So I was like, let me just go. Now, I've been wanting a tattoo for 30 years, never gone to see anybody. Just
Never
always,
even so much have had a consultation
never. I've always just
until
talked
the
about
sea
it.
turtle started talking to you.
We're correct, until my spirit animal. So I go to him, and I have an appointment on July 14th to get my tattoo.
Ooh, baby, you're getting California roll. The recipe for a California roll.
But the reason was because he took the time. The consultation was probably one of the best consultations I've ever had in anything.
Okay.
Yes, because the first thing he asked was why I was getting a tattoo.
Okay.
So I told him. He wanted to hear the whole backstory. He asked me if he could take notes.
That's wild. The tattoo artist taking notes on the backstory.
Yeah, so he's taking all the backstory notes, and then he's explaining to me, right? So I was like, hey, look, I kind of like this style. He's like, oh, that's not a real tattoo. Wow, it looks like a real tattoo, but it's not. He's like, you have Polynesian, Hawaiian, Samoan, and Tahitian all mixed in here. And I was like, okay, is one style better, easier? He's like, well, actually, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I'm like, yeah, please do. I want to know. He's like, if you get just one style in particular, you may have that particular group of people get offended because to them, it's kind of like you're trying to be them and you're not one of them. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to offend anybody. He goes, but if you get a mix of all of them, it's more of a respect to the culture. And I was like, perfect. Then let's do that. He goes, yeah. He goes, the other thing that's very important to a lot of people that get Polynesian tattoos versus other styles of tattoos is everything that's drawn has a meaning. Right. He's like, so when I draw it for you, now that I've taken notes and know everything, know what I need to know about you and what the meaning of this is for you, I'm going to let you know everything I draw and what it means. So if somebody asks you, you can actually be educated and give them the knowledge of why you had certain things done. So I was like, wow. I was like, that's what sold me, because that's what we do in real estate, right?
Yeah,
we sit down with people
100%.
and we say, okay, why are you selling? Okay, this is what I think you should do. This is what I don't think you should do. This is how we attack it. This is how we don't attack it. Same thing with buying a house. But yes, we had to use social media. And now I follow him. So like every day I'm getting updates. And the coolest thing is he's like, unfortunately, I can't give you a design. Yeah. Because based on the notes that I've taken, when you come in to get it done, I'm just going to freelance it on your arm. And we'll look at it, and if it works for you, we'll do it that day. If not, we'll change it around, and we'll make it work.
Well, and that's what's so cool about how some people tend to operate this year. I mean, these days, there's always that old school way of thinking it has to be the harder I work, the longer I work, the more hours I put in. That means I'm outworking everybody, right? But society and the world has changed so much. We have so much more technology, and by no means I've struggled with this too, and we've talked about this before. It's you got to have all forms of it. But this is a great example of tattooing being such a visual industry.
Right.
Right. And that's what we try to tell our team. That's what I've been taught through my coaching and stuff like that, is that when I go to social media and content, it's to tell a story, right? To tell people about me, because I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you could be working with, I mean, the clients I have, some of the clients I have right now are repeat clients, right? So I've maybe spent 45 days with them the first time. Now we're dealing with a couple contingencies from where they're moving to here. So that's taken longer on their end, but it's like there's another 60, 90 days here. I mean, by it's all said and done, I mean, I could be with them for a year or so between these transactions. And so getting to know people, understanding people's story, and when you go to the social media, and like for me, it's like I want people to know what it's like to work with me, you know, what my hobbies are, what my interests are, my family, what I like to do, so that they feel that sense of connection. And it's kind of like, you know, in that industry is, you know, I want to be able to see, one, yes, he does quality work, right? And that's what I want to portray on, you know, some of the YouTube and Instagram, that kind of stuff. But I also want to know a little bit about the guy, like, right? Like, why did he get into Polynesian tattoos? Why did he start doing Tahitian or Hawaiian tattoos? Like, you know, and like taking notes on him to understand, like, now the whole tattoo becomes full circle. Like, you know who did it, you know why he did it. And, you know, and there's different forms of it. And content has become so huge in the industry that we're in, because a lot of it is visual with neighborhoods and amenities in the home. But there is still that old school and traditional marketing that has to happen. The postcards, the calling, the follow up, and it's all part of the big scheme. But it's it's more and more you see this stuff happening in social media if done right.
Right, and that's the thing is, I think when I was given his name as a referral, I trusted the person that gave me the name.
Sure.
Right, because I trust her, but the first thing I did was look at his page.
Right.
Before I reached out, I want to see what does he do. And this weekend he did another freelance, and he was doing it, and he was drawing it out. It looked really nice, and I'm like, you know what? I think I made a right decision.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing about the consultation and learning is, we're gonna do it at your pace.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, we'll stop as many times. He blocked out enough time. He's like, it's your first tattoo. He's like, hey, make sure you know, and then he's giving me like tips, like make sure you eat before you come, because some people don't eat and then they pass out.
Pass out, bro. You're gonna end up with no regrets.
No.
You're getting no regrets on your own. I'm going down to the Levantaria area, and I'm just gonna get Old English across my chest that just says like Dalzell.
Are you?
Or across my belly.
Why don't you get it like on your neck?
Oh, neck tattoo.
Neck tat.
See, that's a problem. Like, you're doing it the right way. I would do it the wrong way. I'd be like, impulse decision. This tattoo place looks great. I'd end up with like Snoopy on my arm and probably
Would you really?
like a needle infection.
I don't think you're that guy.
I'm not comfortable enough to make a decision on a tattoo that I wouldn't be like. And a year from now, I'd be like,
I remember. Do you remember when Rafa got his?
Oh, he thought he was dying. He thought he was gonna have to amputate his arm. Where did he get it? Like Puerto Rico or Panama? Or like,
I think it was either Panama or Colombia or something. He went on vacation.
Went for like a wedding or something. And he came back. He's like, check this out. He's like,
I think it's infected.
I think dude, he thought he was gonna have his arm amputated for sure. Which I make fair.
So we're looking at things completely different, right? Yeah. So he's like all worried about amputating his arm, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it on my left arm, and they're like, why your left arm? Like, well, if something goes wrong, I'm a righty. I don't want to lose my right arm.
But I don't think I'm built. The two things that I'm adding to my list of things that I'm not built for. So number one is still prison. Like, right. I'm not built for prison.
Nope.
Two is I just don't think I'm built for tattoos. I mean, I think they would be sweet. Like, I'm telling you. Like the 3 to 5 year, like one that goes like a full sleeve.
Why 3 to 5 years? Why don't you create?
Because I don't think I can commit to it.
My son is Brandon's like totally.
I want to change it up. It's like a phone case. You gotta keep changing it up.
See, Brandon's all jacked. Brandon says like, Dad, you're gonna get your first one, and then in like 3 to 5 years, you're gonna be full sleeved.
Dude, listen.
And I'm like, what?
Everybody that I have known, especially males, that I've known that started off with one of my really good friends, one of my best friends growing up, his whole family super talented with just art and drawings and tribals and just anything you name it, they could draw. They're just super talented. And he designed his first tattoo, which led to another, which led to another, which led to another. I remember one of my employees one time They started with one. Like, oh, I'm just going to get one. Next thing you know, both sleeves, head, like.
Well, I'm not going to get head.
Dude, I think you
face.
should shave your head and go.
No.
Put it on the head, dude.
No.
I think you should, at one point, just shave your head, go full sea turtle on the top, and then grow your hair back out so you and the sea turtle know that it's there, but the general public doesn't.
No. No. And the only
and
way...
if you end up in prison, then you can shave your head and you'll have a sea turtle already there.
And the only way that I would do full sleeve, as long as my shirt covers it up.
No, see, if I'm going full sleeve, the problem is if I went full sleeve, there's just too much of a commitment level. Because then I'm going to have to go to the gym every day because I'm going to have definitely make sure.
Jacked.
You got to get jacked.
Right.
I mean, you don't really see a lot of non-jacked guys wearing full sleeves.
No. So that means I'm going to get jacked.
That could just be like something that you need. You know, like
that's my motivation. Everybody needs motivation.
You know, it's like, hey, you got to buy a new car that maybe is a little bit pushing it and pushes you to work harder because you don't want to get the repoed. You know, like you don't want to tell your friends why you don't have that car anymore.
Right.
Maybe if I go full sleeve, I mean, I'm gonna have to go to the gym because you can't just not be jacked. I feel like you have to be jacked if you get a full sleeve tattoo.
Well, you could be
just like if you get a teardrop. I mean, you gotta be ready to shank somebody.
Right, but if you go full, you got to be jacked. Because even the Polynesian and Samoans, even though they're bigger guys, they're jacked. They're big.
And those guys, scary. They're scary, dude.
They let their hair grow out, so maybe I'll let my hair grow out.
I tell you what, we've run across some Polynesians on the baseball field. No thanks. Actually, matter of fact, this weekend there's a kid. I think he's part Polynesian, part something. It doesn't matter. He's a bigger kid, and he's a big boy. He hits the ball hard, and we were pitching. We had one of our better pitchers. He's throwing big lefty, throwing hard, and he hit him twice, like in back-to-back at bats, like crazy. I called timeout after both. I'm like, hey, calm him down. The second one, I'm like, dude, you hit Kona again, bro. If he charges, like I don't know if I can help you. He probably choke slams me. So I'm like, dude, like you better be careful the next time he comes up because I'm not sure I can help you, bro.
So how did you do this weekend?
You know what? So it was bittersweet, right? It was a birthday weekend for myself.
Yes, you had a birthday. How was your birthday?
It was good. As much as you can expect at this age. They are what they are. But we knew we got we got a tough draw. I mean, which is fine. But I even text like my buddy who runs PG. I'm like, dude, whose Cheerios did we piss in? Like, bro, I thought we were cool. Like, we played the number 7 team on the West Coast and some other California team, and we played the first team really well. We lost 3-1. One home run was the difference, and it was just hot, and the ball flies further. Like, I thought it was a pop fly, and it just kept going. So we ended up losing 3-1. We got gypped on a little bit of time. I'd like it. We should have one more at bat, but. The second game when we played the number 7 team in the country, it was we got boat raced. We were not in that game. I think the kids were a little bit aware of who we were playing, and they're just a good team. I'm not even sure why they were here. They had half the team was guest players and stuff anyway. And I think the first inning we got bases loaded, and some dude just hits their forehead like that ball was gone. It was gone. And I just look at my coach. I was like, Jesus Christ, he hit the shit out of that ball, didn't he? And so I go out to talk to the pitcher. He's like, my pitcher's kind of mad at me. He's like, man, we got to stick with fastballs. I can throw it by him. I was like, well, like what? You didn't throw that one by him? He's like, well, that wasn't a fastball. That was a slider. I was like, well, shit, we better not throw that one anymore either, because that ball still hasn't landed. But he's
that's still sailing back there somewhere.
Ball's still going. I go, he hit that thing hard. And my son's he was playing third base. He came in. He goes, boy, he sure did. It was one of those games is the kids were working hard. It is what it is. The kids were good, and that pitcher's one of our best pitchers, one of our top guys. So it just was one of those days. But then we came back Sunday, and we played really good. We beat 2 teams. We won the championship. We
you brought a
ring. I got some new hardware for the Ogre Network for the team sponsor.
There we go. Look at
that one was a little better because that one actually says champions in it.
Yes, it does. So, it says Perfect Game Champions.
Yeah, Perfect Games, the organization that runs it all. So
nice.
It was a good birthday present. I told the boys for my birthday, I was like, listen, boys, for my birthday, I'm not really worried about the win or loss. Like, right? Like, we always want to win, but it's like, dude, would you guys just go out and just play some baseball? Like, just go swing the bat, look to do damage, and win. Just play baseball, man. Just, forget about everything. And they did. They beat the first team we played was a local team that, for a long time, has really had the upper hand on us. And now we've beaten them about 2 or 3 times in a row. So that was a really clean, good game. I think we ended up winning 3-0. So it was a good game. Then we had to wait in between games. So it was hot and it was fun. The kids had a great time. And so, yes, then we got to play the championship. And I think we ended up winning like 6-1. But the boys played really good. So it was fun. It was a good way to end our 12U season, regular season. Because, shoot, a couple, 3 days, we're out of here, baby. We're on the hot jot out to New York for a 7-day Cooperstown trip.
So what's going to happen with I'm excited about the Cooperstown trip.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I'm excited.
Ogre Network was a big part of that with some donations and got the boys looking. They're going to be looking sharp, dude. I can't wait till you see the video.
I got to see the video.
So we're doing bag night tomorrow. So we always do like a swag bag, and the moms and one of my moms especially. I mean, they just killed it, dude. Like these boys get so spoiled. And like you had mentioned, like when you text me from Hawaii about something,
right?
You're just like, man, I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, the experience that I'm having right here, like you're like, I'm in a position where I can help create experiences. And I was just like, dude, that's insane. Like you don't even know these kids, but you're like, dude, I want to help create an experience. And I'm telling you, when they open this stuff tomorrow, like, dude, their minds are going to be blown, dude. It's going to be sick.
Good. That's the goal, right? The goal is to make it an experience that 20 years from now, they're talking to their kids about it. And they're like, oh, dude, this is the coolest thing. And when they have an opportunity to take their kids, they'll be like, hey, this was an experience. So hopefully they create experiences.
Well, it's kind of like the thing that we always talk about, right? It's like, oh, passion. My passion is selling homes. My passion is selling cars. My passion is being an accountant. Like, we've talked about that before. That's not your passion. That is something I love to do to make money.
Right.
My passion is being able to make money, provide, and like learning from you too, and learning from my coach and stuff. It's like the passion is my passion is being able to create experiences. And like watching what you did for the kids and stuff, I'm like, okay, like that's a mentor leading the way. Like I'm seeing it firsthand. Like that's my passion.
Right.
Being able to be in a position where I can help create experiences for others. You know, my family, obviously, first and foremost, being included. But like, you know, like you, this is not your family. You know, like I know you treat me, you and your Mercy Boy treated me like family, but it's like, you don't know any of these boys except for mine. You know, it's like, but able to give back. So I think ultimately it always goes back to that question. What is your passion? You know, why do you do this? I do this because of the experience. I coach because of the experience with the kids. And, you know, why do I work? For the passion to create experiences for people.
That's the whole thing, right? Yeah. That's what we do. Why we do what we do is to create an experience, whether it's
just like Hawaii.
Right. Like whether it's an experience for the person buying or selling to make it a
100%.
great experience for them, right? And then have the opportunity to give back, right? Because that's what I look at it. I look at what I'm doing for the boys and sponsoring them and making it special and getting them a couple little things for their bags as I'm giving back.
Yeah.
It's not for me. I'm not doing this and just hoarding everything for me and it's just for me.
Right.
Giving back. Like I took my kids on vacation and somebody asked me, did you go on vacation with your kids? I'm like, is there any other way to go? They're like, well, your kids are adults. I'm like, I understand, but they're my kids.
Right.
Yeah, I plan on taking them to as many vacations as I can.
Yeah.
You know, because I want to give them experiences.
Right.
And look, it's potentially going to change Brandon's life because he's thinking about moving there. So that's what it's all about. It's all about experiences. Well, I hope you have a great experience in Cooperstown, buddy.
I still get a little anxiety over this flight. We got to get past this big flight
and you can't even drink that much.
I'm gonna time it out well. We'll work on my time management. But we are getting up at our flight leaves here at 5:55. So, and we're taking some gear. So I feel like, an hour and a half early to the airport. So call it 6. That means I got to be there probably at 4:30, which means we got to leave at the house at probably 4, which means I got to be up by 3:15. I'm thinking I may not even need my fly juice, my cocktails, because I might be passed out before that bird gets in the air.
See, I'm a 2-hour airport guy.
You
And I even have Clear and TSA pre-check.
Wow, 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't like missing flights.
Well, neither do
I get there early. I don't care. I don't mind waiting there. I'd rather be there waiting than somewhere else.
See, that's like Andy. Andy would much rather. I'm like, cool, man. This flight doesn't leave for 15 minutes. We're good. It's like, you're parking. No, I got 15 minutes. It's fine.
No.
I'm always in the believer, they won't leave without me. I'm going to miss the flight.
You are one time.
But we are traveling with enough people, so we shouldn't miss our connecting flight. So that's good.
Well, brother, you have a good one. Enjoy Cooperstown.
That's right.
We're going to talk to you live from Cooperstown.
We're going to try to make that happen. We're going to make sure we can. Yes,
we are going to make that happen.